let's take it all. Let's take it all from the beginning, and start. When did you first become acquainted with General Flynn, and when did you hire him? Why did you hire him? All of that.
Well, as I said, I worked on the Hill in 2003, at the time prior, during, and after the Iraq War. At the time, General Flynn was not yet a general, I believe, but he was already a very well-known officer in the U.S. Army. Anyone who was interested in the Iraq War knew of General Flynn. He was already, he was legendary in the eyes of many people who worked on these issues. So I knew of him, and I respected him a lot. Later, a friend of mine, Bijan Kian, I'd met him when he was a director at the Exim Bank. And he's a good friend of mine, and he told me that he started a company together with General Flynn. It was always something I had in my mind. Maybe I could do something in terms of opening an office of the Flynn Intel Group in Turkey. And while these discussions were going on, while I was thinking about this issue, the coup attempt happened in Turkey. That was July 15, 2016. And of course, Bijan called me to ask me if we were okay, how we were doing. And we started talking. I expressed to him that I felt very strongly that the government of Turkey needed to commission independent, objective research in the United States to expose who this Islamist cult was. And it's not very easy to explain to an American audience or to anyone who they really are, because when you start talking about them, it sounds like something out of a Dan Brown novel. And that's why when we say it as Turks, it's difficult to believe maybe for an American audience. So I believed we needed people with credibility, with investigative capabilities, who would do objective research in the United States and then explain it to the U.S. public.
So,
and I believe,
sorry, let me just stop you there for 1 second, sure. Because hopefully there are people who are watching this now who haven't been following Turkish politics closely, and you kind of slid over a few things I want to bring out. The Islamist cult we're talking about is the Gulenist movement, right?
Correct.
And the July 2016 coup attempt in Turkey, which included fighter jets bombing the parliament and an attempt to kill President Erdogan, is, according to the Turkish government and according to you, and I'll just say according to every right-thinking Turk that I know, was carried out by the Gulenist movement. This is what you're saying, right?
Yes, the central nervous system of this coup, in terms of planning it, masterminding it, was this Islamist cult. And there's absolutely no way anyone who knows a little bit about Turkey can deny this. Of course, we have not been very eloquent at explaining it for several reasons. And the fact that the Gulenists were used to be aligned with the government of Turkey does not help either. But it's a fact.
Let's just make sure that our viewers understand that Gulen, the man, the cult leader, is in Pennsylvania right now.
In the Poconos Mountains, yes.
All right, so from the Turkish point of view, and I would just add my own feelings about this, this is totally a credible interpretation of what happened. A guy sitting in the Poconos Mountains masterminded a coup attempt against an American ally.
That's correct.
And you as a, sorry to talk over you, but you as a, I just want to get to this because this is your motivation in doing all this. You as a Turk who cares deeply about U.S.-American relations and also the health of your own country, thought, how the hell is this guy sitting in Pennsylvania? The Americans need to understand this, and we need to investigate all that he is doing in the United States, because he has a whole string of schools and everything. And so you thought, who better to help me with that than the Flynn Intel Group, General Flynn, former head of DIA. Sorry to put all these words in your mouth, but I want to make sure that everybody sees this.
No, I'm glad you did, because I'm so in tune with this subject that I might pass some relevant information for the viewers. But you're absolutely right. That was our thinking. And of course, Bijan has his heart in the right place, but it was his job to create more business for the Flynn Intel Group. So why not accept a commission like this? There was absolutely nothing illegal or absolutely nothing secret about it, other than obviously we did not want the Guleners to know that we were doing this for a lot of reasons. Plus, I felt strongly that the government of Turkey should retain them. For financial reasons, I didn't want to pay for it. The budget that I could allocate for it, which I ended up paying for myself, is a much smaller budget than I still believe should be spent on this issue. And it's not, the government of Turkey has hired lawyers and other people, but I believe it's not enough. I believe it's not enough. So I made that point, and I tried to convince the government, and at some point I thought I did convince them, but it was a very busy time for them as well, and it didn't push through soon enough. So that's when I stepped in and decided to do it myself, and it was all very quick. And I can understand, actually, that there was some confusion on the side of the prosecutor's office after they read all these media stories about what happened, and then they saw some of the things that were in our communications, which we voluntarily gave to them. I can understand there was some confusion about who hired the Flynn Intel Group. But in the end, and we've always said this, the government of Turkey entertained the idea of hiring the Flynn Intel Group, but ended up not hiring them. And I did that. I stepped in for a more limited, smaller budget as a proof of concept.